Order at 4:01, this planning and zoning meeting. Our first thing on the agenda today is approval of the minutes from the May 2nd, 2024 regular meeting. And I was not at that meeting, so you guys can let me know if you think the minutes are.
I will make a motion to approve as provided.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor? All right, so we're gonna move into consideration and final action on a revision of a plat. Drew, you wanna?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. This is a replat without vacating the preceding plat. Lots 10, 11, 13, and 902 of the landing, creating lots 10R, 11R, 13R, 902R, and 904. Total subdivision being 58.739 acres of land out of the Joseph S. Anderson Survey, number 141, abstract number 2, and the J.S. Sater Survey, number 142, abstract 290 of Kerr County. It is the landing subdivision. So here's the proposed replat. At the top of the screen, in the hashed area where the floodplain is, that is all going to be, or roughly all of that's going to be 902R. To your top left, part of that was lot 13, and that's being taken into lot 902R. And then between 10 and 11, there was a shift of the property line between those two lots. Now here's the previous plat. And this also documents the removal of, or the closure of Napa Road. There's still a few conditions of that ordinance that will need to be incorporated before that filing, before the recording of this plat. The council did approve the road closure by ordinance 2024-10.
Drew, can you go back to the previous plat real quick?
Mm-hmm.
So the large area that's above these plats that is being incorporated into it,
Yes, sir.
go to the new plat? Okay.
On the north end of it, the left-hand side, you can see lot 13 originally went all the way to the riverbank. And that property line is being moved south, close to the edge of the floodplain.
And the land that's left close to the riverbank is,
It'll be privately owned. It'll be still remain as a private park and drainage easement for the development.
Okay.
I'll go into some of the conditions here real quick too.
okay.
Changing the title from a revision of plat to a replat without vacation of the preceding plat. That's just to be more consistent with our subdivision code. The original designation for lot 902 was private park. We're recommending a change to park and drainage easement to be owned and maintained by the Upper Guadalupe River Authority and its successors in interest. They are working with the landing to purchase that property. And related to the river trail, both the EIC agreement with the landing and the ordinance to close Knapp Road, they're required to dedicate a river trail at the time the city is ready to work with them on that location. We don't have that design in hand to show where the river trail will go, so it'll be a future dedication. But adding that note, pursuant to the previous plat, the approved and filed for this property in compliance with the conditions found in ordinance number 2024-10 as adopted by the city of Kerrville, 25-foot river trail easement or an equivalent interest shall be conveyed and otherwise dedicated to the city on lot 902R. Again, that was previous 902 and lot 13. In a mutually agreed upon location, upon the request of the city, such interest shall be conveyed within 180 days following the city's request. And then just another note, again, related to the closure of Knapp Road. City Council via ordinance 2024-10 vacated, abandoned, and closed Knapp Road, subject to the terms found within that ordinance. Any questions?
Is there like a reason behind what the changing the?
Thanks, I can go into it, and Steve, if you want to,
That'd be great, Steve.
Steve Schulte, I'm General Counsel for Thompson Partners, which is the owner of most of the subdivision. We have property under contract to two different entities, including what's now 902R, and that it's public, in the public realm, that UGRA is going to buy that property. So number one, they wanted the entire waterfront.
Okay.
So that's why we modified 13, so to give them the entire waterfront. We didn't want to have a public road going through the middle of it, so that's why we vacated Knapp Road. And then the other minor lot adjustments below 902, because we had to reconfigure those lots because we added an easement to the adjoining property owner to give her access once Knapp Road is abandoned.
Okay.
But it's on the end, so.
Thank you. Anybody else have any questions? Any discussion? Any problems with what we?
staff recommends the approval with these conditions.
Okay, we have a proposal before us. Anybody want to make a motion on this?
I'll make a motion to approve.
A motion to approve. We have a second?
A second.
Motion to approve and second. All in favor, subject to the conditions, raise your hand. All right, we are approved. So we will move on to 3A, which is under a public hearing. Drew?
3A is an ordinance to annex into the city of Kerrville's corporate limits with a zoning classification of IM, industrial and manufacturing, all of a certain tract or parcel of land containing 2.02 acres, more or less, out of the William Watt Survey number 69, abstract number 367 in Kerr County, Texas, and all of a certain parcel of land containing 7.10 acres, more or less, out of the original patent surveys of Kerr County, Texas, as follows. William Watt Survey number 69, abstract number 367, 6.54 acres, and the W.T. Crook Survey number 70, abstract number 113.56 acres, located at the corner of Peterson Farm Road and Highway 27. So here's that property there. As you can see, there's the survey of the property to be annexed.
That's all, the survey is the yellow shaded property?
Yes. And then the area that's green, that you see kind of that triangle at the bottom, is the next case that's already in the city limits to be rezoned from AD to IM.
Okay.
So we did separate it in two cases because one's annexation, one is just a rezoning. There's the annexation area, you can see kind of in that pink color, and the triangle is that dark purple for the next case. This is part of the strategic catalyst area surrounding the airport, which does incorporate industrial uses. Oh, that's the next case. The staff recommends approval of the case because it is consistent with the catalyst area and the comprehensive plan. Be pleased to answer any questions before or after the public hearing.
Before we go into the public hearing, can we go over all of the uses that are allowed in IM zoning?
Handed out a land use table for you. I don't know if you want to go through all of them.
I don't, yeah, let's go down the list. I mean, I see most of them are innocuous, but let's go down the list so we are aware of what can be done on that property if we change the zoning to IM.
Okay. We've got agricultural services, ambulance service, private, ambulatory surgical center, appliance repair. All right, let me get something I can keep track of these lines here. Artisan and craftsman workshop, an ATM, automobile dealership for new automobiles, automobile renting and leasing, automobile service and repair major and minor, automobile towing service, an auto body shop, a bank or financial institution, a boat or marine dealership, building contractor general, building contractor maintenance and repair, temporary field office for a building contractor, building contractor trade specialist, building contractor storage yard, cabinet making shop, car title loan business, a caretaker residence, a cash checking business, church, temple, mosque, or place of worship, civic, fraternal, philanthropic, charitable, or nonprofit organization, college or private university, public university, community garden, a conditional use permit, which would have to go back through the planning and zoning and city council for a concrete or asphalt batch plant that's a permanent location, convenience store with fuel sales, convenience store without fuel sales, a distillery, dwelling, live, work, similar to a caretaker residence, equipment and rental of heavy equipment rental with no outdoor storage, a heavy equipment rental with outdoor storage, light equipment rental, fabrication processes. Another conditional use would be a fair or rodeo grounds or exhibit hall or arena, farm supply store, feed, grain, and hay storage for bulk or wholesale, an indoor flea market. An outdoor flea market would be a conditional use permit. A food processing manufacturing, conditional use permit for a food truck park, bulk fuel sales, furniture repair and sale, garden center nursery with outdoor storage, garden center nursery without outdoor storage, guidance services, job and vocational training center, a kennel with indoor or outdoor pens, landscape or nursery, commercial and wholesale, a laundry or dry cleaning plant, limousine or taxi service, a lumber yard, machine shop, mailing service, manufactured housing sales, manufacturing assembly, manufacturing general, mini storage, a conditional use permit for motor freight and trucking company, a motorcycle, all-terrain vehicle, or personal watercraft dealership, a newspaper, professional or business offices, medical offices, outdoor storage of equipment and sales, or equipment and materials, excuse me, parking lot, parking structure, not a parking structure, a payday loan business, portable building sales, print shop, public or institutional facility use, radio or television broadcasting tower, recreational vehicle dealership, a rectory or parsonage, a repair shop for household items, research and development lab, restaurant or food and beverage shop, a conditional use permit for salvage, reclamation, or recycling of materials, conditional use permit for sand, gravel, or stone storage and sales, public elementary to public secondary, security service, security systems installation and monitoring company, shipping containers, showroom in conjunction with warehousing and distribution, solar energy facility, taxidermy shop, conditional use permit for a transportation terminal, whether it be bus or aviation, a conditional use permit for a truck stop and fueling station, local utilities, a conditional use permit for private or franchise utilities, permitted for public utility, warehousing or distribution, welding shop, wholesaling, and winery, and that is it.
Okay, thanks, Drew. I guess we'll open the public hearing on this. We'll open the public hearing on this at 4:17. I don't have any sign-up speakers for this. No one signed up to speak. Is there anyone here that wishes to speak on this before we go through the, yes, ma'am, you want to tell us your name and?
Joanne Hagemeyer. I am president of the board of Our Lady of the Hills Regional Catholic High School. We butt up to the end there, and I did see a red bubble around our place. I want to make sure that that's not part of.
Yes,
See that red bubble? That's us.
yes, that is the state-required notification
No,
area.
that's the notification.
Okay,
area.
notification.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So
Okay.
anyone with the property in that 200 feet received a
Right.
notification.
Right. We're just concerned that it's something that might be noisy. It butts up to our baseball, softball field, and then, of course, the rest of the school. We've lived with Martin Marietta across the street on the other side, and now Mega Crete is going to be down the street. We just hope that one line about the concrete, we'll take the winery and other things that are there, but that it's just consideration,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
know. I've visited with the potential owners, and it looks like maybe the one that's going to be next to us may not be anything that's noisy, but just taking that into consideration. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. Anyone else? Is there somebody here that is involved in the purchase of the property and owning the property?
I represent that current owner.
Anybody have any questions of them? I mean, it doesn't matter what their intention is, it's just a matter of what's allowed. Yes, sir?
That's my question is, we'd like to know what the intention of the property is,
Sorry,
because
can you introduce yourself?
I'm Tom Featherstone, 200 Peterson Farm Road, I'm one of the abutters. Like Joanne said, now you're right next to a school, and if this goes to IM, there's no changing it. So you can put a gas station, you can put a concrete plant if you go to the city council, you can put anything you want there. I'd like to know what you want, what you want to put there.
Go ahead.
Can you close the public hearing?
No, you're still in the public hearing.
I'd like to wait until after the public hearing. I represent the owner.
I mean, this is the time for discussion.
Okay.
Whether you're in the public hearing or not, it's all on record, Bruce, so.
So Bruce Drakey, where's my office? 369, I'm sorry, I rented out the
Okay.
old office. 369 Indian Springs, Kerrville, Texas. We bought the property, the next property from OLH several years ago. We're the same owner that bought that property at that time.
Is this the company people you represent?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
We bought this property from Jim Ernst prior to that. So we've had the property for many years. We've been sitting on it. With the Mega Crete deal, we've looked at it. We've had a lot of folks reaching out to us about use out there that's potential. We've talked to the county. The county won't let us drill a well. So we have to come into the city. We're subdividing this property. That'll be coming to you at another time for the plat out here. Mrs. Hagemeyer, Mrs. Hagemeyer, we do have a contract on a proposed lot that is next to them. That particular owner is talking about doing flex space out there. And I know that he's been in contact with OLH about the football field and other issues out there. And so they're working together on that. That's not part of us. We obviously, if we go a different direction, that contract will go away. So then I can't speak to, I can't speak to what's gonna happen. So we've been a longtime property owner here. Again, we bought property from OLH. What's the use? The use is just, we're an investor and we're looking to develop Kerrville. It's a very difficult property to develop because it's out on that spider leg or snake that the city sent out years ago to the airport. And so nothing around us is in the city. It's all in the county, except for OLH, which was annexed many years ago. And so we have a real challenge with utilities and with what the use is out there. As we all know, that's not really a developed area. It's an area that's going to develop in the future. We don't know where it's going to go at this time. So IM is what we came to. We talked to the staff about either doing C2 or IM. With the recent work with Megacrete, IM was the consensus that we came to with staff. It fits the uses. If we look at the flex use, that's a conditional use under C2. It's not a conditional use under IM. And that's what we're getting most of the interest on the property is for flex use or for contractors.
So flex use, you're talking about a hybrid between warehouse use and office use?
Yeah, it'd be like Kevin has built out toward, what is it, Blue Ridge out there toward Ingram, what Kevin Bernhard's doing out there, where you've got like a small office space in a shop or something. That's what I'm referring to as flex space. And that I believe is what Nate's intention in the lot next door to OLH is. That's what he's told me he's doing, and I'm not sure what he's shared with Mrs. Hagemeyer, and I don't want something like that. So that seems consistent. So, but the county's told us no well. We've got city water and Peterson Farm Road, and then the highway going out. There's a force main in the highway, right away or along the highway, and we're looking here to do the zoning. It's currently, the next piece is Airport District, which was at the time we talked with staff several years ago, was what the consensus was. Now the consensus is IM. And so that's why we're here. And that is consistent with what we're being asked.
Anybody have any questions for Bruce?
I really am glad to answer any questions. I just, as the
Gotcha.
applicant, we don't normally have to speak during the public hearing, so, but
Okay.
glad to do it. It
You good?
just seems odd.
So if no one else has anything to say, I'm gonna close the public hearing. Yes, sir?
Where is the force main? Is it on which side of the road?
On the east side of the road. Yes,
It's on the side with OLH.
Gotta be in the city side, right?
yes.
You can't drill a well, but do they have to access that force main, or are they gonna try to put in?
Well, that's, the force main would be water and sewer, I believe, I mean sewer.
Sewer.
The
Water line goes down.
the water line is not a force main.
Right.
So we swear.
Yeah. That's what I was curious, because just for the purposes of where that force main is, they have easy access, they don't have to bore under the road. Is that true?
They would have easy access, but the tapping into that force main is not ideal. No,
No, it's expensive.
yes,
But again, you don't have to bore under the road.
correct.
That's correct.
Okay, if nobody else, I'm gonna close the hearing, public hearing at 4:25. Do we have any discussion on this issue?
Well, certainly potential noise is a factor, especially in regard to classroom, not so much baseball fields.
Anybody else? I mean, I have concerns about the zoning. I mean, I know that it's kind of, I guess, in the comp plan, master plan. The industrial manufacturing zoning is like all-inclusive. I mean, there's just so many things you can do out there adjacent to the school. That kind of gives me a little concern. It's kind of an all or nothing deal. I mean, you either give them the zoning or you don't. If you give them the zoning, it doesn't matter what their intention is. They can sell it to someone, they can do anything within the zoning
There's also the
classification.
argument, though, that the school did sell the property to them.
Yeah, but they didn't sell it under IM zoning.
No, correct, but releasing something that you could have had control over forever, you know, so
Well, I
you don't know
don't,
what the future will hold. is
yeah, I
what
don't
I'm
disagree with you,
saying.
but that was one small piece of this property, and again, when it was sold, it's not, the piece that was sold was the piece that was in the city,
That's correct.
and the zoning was, or is, airport?
Airport district,
The zoning was planned district at the time of the sale,
that's right.
with no restrictions on what the zoning may become.
And so the catalyst area is geared towards the fact that the airport is in that area. So the airport being the major catalyst. From a planning perspective on the comprehensive plan, the industrial uses around the airport is more ideal because the airport already has a noise factor. So the additional industrial around that area generally would not have a negative impact. Obviously, we do have county development and the school that was existing that moved out near the airport. So understanding noise is a factor, but the reason the comprehensive plan
Sure.
recommends industrial is because of the airport, and you already have that situation.
It doesn't get much more noisier than the airport.
No.
That's correct.
Mike, can I address that?
Yeah, I mean, we're out of public hearing, but go ahead.
Well, I'm the applicant.
Yeah.
So we're very cognizant of the noise. And that was part of the conversation when we bought the other piece of property we're gonna be talking about next. But the school itself, the building, is actually off that map that y'all are looking at now. It is, I was a cross-country coach out there at OLH for some years. And it's about a half a mile away. So this is, what's next to us are the volleyball, sand volleyball courts, the softball field, the baseball field, and then there's an undeveloped property before you get to the school building. So we're a long ways away. And I'm sorry, I don't know exactly where 200 Peterson Farm Road is, but this gentleman is probably closer and more impacted as a county resident than the school from a noise standpoint. And so we're a long ways away. We're very cognizant of that, and I understand the concerns. We're airport district. We can do an awful lot of things in airport district that include these industrial things you're concerned about. The things that make the most noise, as we read through the list, and while at first I thought that, I'm actually glad you did that because it reminded me that all those things are conditional uses. So if we want to do something like that, a concrete blade, an asphalt plant, which is not our intention,
Right.
but who knows what's going to happen in the next 20
You would
years.
never get the conditional use permit.
But we'd
anyway.
have to come here for a conditional use permit.
You'd never get it.
Right?
My feeling is, I
And
agree with
and I
you.
don't disagree with that. And you guys, I mean, I've been here for a long time, you guys know me. But I understand you're right. It's in the zoning, but it's in the zoning as a conditional use
Sure.
permit. So we have got to come back. We got to not only talk to you all, but we got to talk to the city council.
Yeah, I don't think that.
And
would
2
be-
public hearings to do that again. Okay, so that just.
Whose phone is that? Thank you. Short, please.
Anyway, I recognize that that's a concern, and I recognize that it's included in the zoning, but that's not being decided today. That would be a decision in the
Correct.
future if a particular user wanted to come here and do that.
Anything under conditional use permit wouldn't be my concern anyway, so. Anything else? I mean, listen, I understand plan. The school does have some concern over it, but we're, I guess, dealing with what we have today. So if there are, does this require all 4 of us to vote for this?
No, the majority.
Just a majority? Okay. Okay, if there's any further discussion, any questions, any thoughts of anybody? Okay, if not, I'll entertain a recommendation on the annexation and the zoning of IM for these properties there.
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve.
I will second that.
We have a motion to approve in a second. All in favor? All right. All opposed? Passes 3-1. Gonna move on to the, 3B.
Martin, can you advance to 3B? I think it died. Martin, can you advance to 3B? There we go. An ordinance to change the zoning from Airport District to IM Industrial and Manufacturing on OLH Block 1, Lot 1, 4.24 acres, and Lot 2, 1.89 acres, more commonly known as 575 and 601 Peterson Farm Road. Again, this is that triangle there, going from AD to IM. It is, again, part of the catalyst area for the airport on the comprehensive plan. And it is being consistent with the comprehensive plan, staff recommends approval.
Anyone signed up to speak on this?
I don't have any.
I'm gonna open the public hearing on this at 4:32. Does anyone wish to speak on this before we move on?
Joanne Hagemeyer. It may say OLH, but we don't own that. We don't have anything to do with that. It's just that that whole, for some reason, because I asked the property, that whole area is called OLH subdivision, so we didn't know that, so just clarification.
Thank you very much.
And yet, yes, that is the legal description when that property was platted. The name of the subdivision is OLH.
Anybody else? Yeah, I'm gonna close the public hearing at 4:33 on this. Any comments, any discussions? I guess this is the same as far as future use as we just went through. Anybody have any comments or anything? No one? I have the same reservations that I had on the other one as far as changing the zoning to IM, but from what I can see, there's been no opposition expressed at the meeting here. There was no, did you receive any notices of concern when you sent any?
Yep.
None out? So,
Oh, excuse me, there was one.
One letter at the tail end. So the doesn't really state an opposition.
that's Tom, he's here. My personal feelings notwithstanding, since there is no, from the adjacent property owners, there's no pushback on changing it, and I'll entertain a motion on this as far as, the rezoning of this property.
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve. We have a second. Motion to approve and second. All in favor? All right. This motion is approved. I guess that, you got any staff report, Drew?
Yes, sir. Council approved a contract with Friesen Nichols to do an update to the Kerrville 2050 comprehensive plan. Part of that process, we'll have a comp plan advisory committee. And for the update, the recommendation was that the Planning and Zoning Commission would be that committee. So we'll be working with.
Oh, joy.
We'll be working with Friesen Nichols, hosting some public meetings on the update, both for input and to get the Planning Commission's input, as well as the public input on different scenarios, updating some of the chapters. Timeline, we'll do a kind of a kickoff with the consultant in July and August. We'll be in front of the Planning and Zoning Commission July 2nd for that kickoff. So we'll add that to the agenda along with our regular agenda. And then later on in the fall, we'll have a public event with this Planning and Zoning, the Comprehensive Plan Advisory Committee, or CPAC committee. It also includes a downtown master plan, and they'll have a downtown advisory committee that consists of the TERS board and a liaison from Main Street and a liaison from the Historic Downtown Business Association. So they'll be working in parallel with the Planning Commission on the downtown piece, while we're looking at the overall update of the comprehensive plan. Some of the focuses, we'll look at land use, infrastructure, the master thoroughfare plan, sustainability and resilience, economics, and housing. And then moving into the late fall and early winter, we'll meet again with the consultant and the planning commission to look at a small area plan around Nimitz Lake, to dial in some of the land use and the infrastructure capacity in that area, to make sure our planned land use we have adequate capacity for in that area. Again, the Downtown Advisory Committee will be working on the downtown plan through late fall, early winter as well. And then ultimately, we'll have an adoption scheduled for June 2025. So that'll include update to those chapters and an update to the implementation plan with the list of action items that come out of the public engagement. So lots more to come.
Sounds like fun.
Goes on.
Before we do adjourn, I do understand that Drew was given somewhat of a promotion and a title.
Yes, sir.
So could you kind of explain that to us?
Now the Director of Development Services, so that includes planning, building inspection, code enforcement, and health inspections.
Steve, does he have a bigger head now?
It's okay.
He's okay? Well, congratulations, well deserved.
Yes,
Thank you.
congratulations.
If there is nothing else, then we'll adjourn this meeting at 4:37.